Premier Automotive Group is busy making a difference in the community and around the world. Founded by Troy and Tracy Duhan, Giving Hope is a New Orleans-based foundation providing support to those in need. Giving Hope NOLA feeds over 230 people every day through the food pantry of New Orleans. The Hope House coordinates annual mission trips to fund and build orphanages around the world. And Giving Hope Ranch partners with the New Orleans Mission to serve men and women of the New Orleans Mission. Giving Hope NOLA and Premier Automotive is making a difference. You can learn more by visiting givinghopenola.org. We hope you will. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv. It was a very good afternoon this past Saturday in Tiger Stadium. No rain. There's never lightning in Tiger Stadium. And the Tigers, well, they had a little lightning of their own against Auburn. All they need to do is give the ball to number 7. First play from scrimmage. Leonard breaks it, makes the cut to the outside. Look at Traven Durrell trying to block downfield. Good play by the defender. Leonard couldn't quite finish this one, but that set the tone for the game. Brandon Harris, keeper on the option, made a nice cut there because they were waiting on him, and scores. And then the Tigers, yeah, they were able to try to pass the ball, but when it wasn't there, guess what? Harris can run. Ricky, that's a different dimension. That gives LSU another weapon.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you need. You need a quarterback who can do multiple things. You can see right here, he can get out the pocket and he got great arm. He got a lot better since last year.
Well,
and Brian, they've got this guy.
Well, you know what? Brandon does a great job. Les Miles used the word game manager, and I think that's if Brandon Harris takes care of himself and gives the ball to this gentleman right here, chances are you're going to be successful.
They never got him on the ground.
Yeah, I know it. Look at that.
There's 6 blue shirts. He never went down.
He's a beast. And I'll tell you what, if anything that this showed is this, do not talk trash about this guy before a ball game because he's going to make you pay for it.
I'll tell you what, it make me think of George Rogers on a lot of runs. He was a lot faster than George on top end, but as far as when he get that pitch and hitting the holes, you know, he's a lot like George Rogers was.
And that's a freshman guy that's going to be a good ball player.
In this play here, Brandon Harris went right. Everybody else went left.
Yeah.
I think Harris went the wrong way.
I think you're right. It looked like a busted play, didn't it? Really did.
When it's going right for you, no pun intended, going right.
All right, but you can see the speed, though. I mean, he was way faster than the defense.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That worked out.
Leonard Fournette with 3 touchdowns. Could have had the all-time record at LSU, but they took him out. Auburn, 160 yards rushing, and most of that came after the game was decided. 8 straight home wins for LSU against Auburn, and they play a very strange road game at Syracuse Saturday morning at 11. I have no idea why they scheduled that game, and I've said that for about a year now. I don't really get it, why you're traveling to upstate New York to play a morning game, but they are, and we'll see how much Fournette plays and if LSU can avoid a letdown. LSU winning, of course, catapult them into the top 10 nationally that we look at, with Ohio State staying on top despite their struggles and a bad performance. Michigan State, that's a good team, and there's Ole Miss jumping all the way up to tie for 3rd. Hotty toddy. Archie Manning and John Forcade and Chuck Comiskey, they're really happy right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Baylor's a good team. Notre Dame, we knew after last year would be good, even without their quarterback. Good win over Georgia Tech. There's Georgia, and there are the LSU Tigers. J.L. Moore, or Jim Moore, as he likes to be called, is 9th. Florida State, 10th. So, Ricky, you look at that top 10, it's pretty formidable. Can LSU climb the ladder?
Yeah,
can they get to the championship game?
I think they can get to the championship game, especially if they can win out. I mean, win out, you're automatic in. And just unbelievable. I mean, and just to see Ohio State, bad as they played, they still won the ball game.
The big question, Brian, is can Pitt get to that national championship game?
As long as Brandon Whedon quarterbacks them, I think they got a shot.
Thank you.
But look, the Ole Miss game obviously in November looms big now. They've still got to get past Alabama. I mean, there's a couple hurdles, right? But boy, I tell you, they're positioning themselves well to advance up and be part of that playoff run.
Let me tell you what really impressed me about the LSU win. Their offensive line was dynamite. Yes. They were dynamite.
Yeah, man, he had some holes that you could have ran through, Brian.
Well, maybe you, Ricky. I don't know about me.
I thought his most impressive run was the stutter step move to the outside. There's 2 guys waiting on him. He stutter steps, makes a miss, and then runs past them.
Oh, yeah, those linemen, they couldn't catch up with him.
Oh, man, look, some of those guys weren't linemen. Look, he was that good. It was a good week for the other local team as well. The Tulane Green Wave at Yeoman Stadium against Maine. And the Green Wave on whiteout night, wore all white at home. Maybe they set a trend after this because they got the big play, and that's what you want. And when you put it in the hands of big play guys like Sherman Beatty, look, this guy has 4 touchdowns of over 50 yards in a year and a half. Get him the ball. He's your home run hitter. When you have those kind of numbers, get him the ball. Speaking of home run hitters, you're not going to be more wide open than this. The old out and up, and Tanner Lee to Teddy Veal. It's good to see both elements clicking, Ricky, with their offense.
Yeah, I mean, the team that they played, they should have beat this team. You can see when I looked at when they was down in the first quarter. I was like, man, I know not another loss for Tulane, but they came back and showed that.
Dontrell Hilliard there with an 85-yard run. Big plays galore, 38-7. The final, Tulane had almost 500 yards. Tanner Lee, no turnovers. Teddy Veal dropped a 62-yard touchdown pass, or Lee's numbers would be even better. You got to catch that ball. Otherwise, it's hard to find any problem with what they did. And now they get Central Florida, and they get a week's rest, an extra week to prepare for them. And Central Florida is 0-3 and averaging 12 points a game, and they've lost to 2 bad teams. So this is a real shot for Tulane at home, Brian, to get to 2-2.
Right, and they've got 4 teams after the UCF game that are undefeated in the American Conference. So they need to make hay, and congratulations to Curtis. I know on this dais we've given him a little bit heat over the first few weeks of the season, and rightfully so. But good win, and it's a win that they needed to have.
The good news, Ricky, is they're not going to face teams better than the first 2 they played, Duke and Georgia Tech. Those are probably the 2 best teams they're going to play.
Yeah, I mean, but the only thing you're looking for them to do is be competitive in those first 2 games, and they weren't competitive. So that was the buzz about Tulane. Not that, that they don't have a good team, just out there that they faced 2 good opponents and they didn't show much. But I think this ball game and the next ball game, they'll show that they can handle the guys who they're supposed to handle.
Brian, is the SEC overrated?
Good question, Kenny. Right now, yeah, I would say it is. I would say the Big Ten's overrated. I would say maybe generally some of the Big 5 conferences might be overrated a little bit, but I think the cream is going to rise in the SEC, and they'll obviously have a good representative in the playoff chase.
Well, Ricky, normally you talk about 6 or 7 teams. Right now, when you're talking about the SEC, you're talking about Georgia, Ole Miss, LSU, and maybe Alabama, Arkansas, Texas A&M. Look, they're doing well so far, but I'll believe it when I see them against better teams. By and large, Mississippi State is not what it was last year. Tennessee's improved, but they're not there yet. South Carolina's not as good, so I don't think this league is as good as it was last year.
No, because, I mean, you see South Carolina lose the way they've been losing. I don't think Coach will be around there too long. And Alabama didn't never go get a quarterback. I mean, you just can't believe that they got all the top linemen, running back, receivers, and they didn't go out and get a top quarterback.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
And you can certainly, I can buy into that, but what about their defense? They got shredded by Ole Miss. Got taken apart at home in Tuscaloosa.
And and that was a team that you look at if Fournette or the LSU is going to stumble, they're going to play a good defensive team in Alabama. We don't see it right now.
No, I think there's a philosophy there at Alabama. They go for the physical defenses, and up front, they're usually better than everybody up front on defense. But in the back, maybe not as skilled as some of the other teams. LSU's a good example. LSU recruits linebackers who are thinner and fast. Alabama likes thick guys that are physical. When you get to that second level against teams that can spread you out, it becomes a problem when you don't have the pure athletes that can run.
And that same thing I was telling you earlier about Ole Miss. They got 3 receivers that are 6'3", 6'4", and the quarterback can just throw the ball up. That's opening the running game up. Now you got to worry about the passing game, not opening the running game up. That's what Saints used to be so great with. They had a passing game for you, then the running game automatic open up. That's when they have a lot of success. But now when you make a team one-dimension team, you take the pass away from the Saints. They can't run the ball, so that makes it difficult.
And now Ohio State has a quarterback controversy. Gee, I wonder if we could see that coming. When we return in just a moment, high school football at its best as Sports NOLA TV continues.